Tell us about your concerns regarding football.
Well, I played football in the hills of West Virginia, so I grew up I admire the sport. It meant a lot to me. I played a lot of sports. Sports mean a lot. And I grew up thinking, how hard you hit, and being hit and hit hard was cool. And it wasn't until just the last few years I realized the magnitude of the importance of the helmet, but also what was happening to the brain and to the head when you got hit. I remember many guys being knocked out. And I haven't had myself scanned, but for all I know, I got hit a few times. And I just became aware of how much damage is being done to the brain with these hits. But then I also learned it doesn't have to be just football. I mean, soccer, some of the head things that go on soccer are pretty bad. And even hockey, I guess. So I had a very painful discussion with the president of Oregon Health Science University recently, because he's a big athlete in his day, and he played football in Indiana, tough part. And he's even reached the point that he sent me materials to say, I don't know, man. And I just don't know. And I know we've had all these new things go on, but I just don't know if there's enough protection out there. And also, I don't know if parents are being made aware of this in a way that they have to sign off officially after going to certain classes. Now you know where I'm coming from. They have to go to certain classes and participate and sign off on them before they can allow any of their children to play any sports in high school, minimum. Because I think we've reached the point that we have to start to question whether or not we have the equipment necessary to protect the human head under certain circumstances in collision sports. And that's very hard for me to talk about. Just this last weekend, I was going to go to an Western Oregon football game. I didn't go. I went and bought tickets for the whole year. I'm sure I'll go to some Western Oregon football games. And I watch it on TV. I fully admit that to you. But I am increasingly wondering, given what it does to someone years later, long before they should be leaving us, the earth, how their lives are taken away from, the effect on families, even their criminal behavior instincts. I want to tell you about recently what they just found in Hernandez's brain, because I could not understand. I know he came from a tough background. There was something that didn't make sense there. And so it's pretty frightening. And these kids are getting their bell rung very early in life. And I wonder if it's more to impress coaches and parents than taking care of the kids. So it's becoming hard for me to talk about, because I do like the games. I do love sports, and I love team sports. And you're forcing me to question. You're making me question whether or not they're really that viable, or we should continue some of this stuff unless we do some drastic changes. So, and when I have a Joe Robertson, president of Oregon Health Science University, out of nowhere voluntarily look at me and look, and he says, well, it's complicated. He says, it is, Peter, and I'm conflicted. He said, I'm conflicted. So you got adult males here who like contact sports, collision sports, who are saying, I just had one of my oncologists say to me, they're struggling over their kid over here. He's 12 years old. He's an incredible athlete. He's a great catcher. And one of the parents doesn't want him to play football, and the other do. They're both doctors, and they're struggling. And he asked me, what do you think, Peter? This 12-year-old kid, who you may hear about one day around here. He's one of the big high schools. He's just a great athlete. And you know what I told him a few months ago? I don't think I'm going to tell him the next time I see him. I'm going to say, I think I changed my mind. Maybe because his first love is baseball. Now, I love baseball. And he's a catcher, which is also, although the evening football, in baseball, I know this is too long. You no longer watch the pros. You can't come in and collide anymore with a catcher. Right. You can't, man. They said no. And you see them go out of their way to slide wide with the hands, all that. They stopped it. And they stopped it because of knees and things, but they stopped it also because you're going to get in a bad situation. So, I don't know. I'm now concerned that I'm enough worried that maybe I'm going to have to do something that's going to cause me some heartache. It's going to get me some real criticism, because we love football and we love these collision sports.
What is it that you would do?
Well, at a minimum, I don't think a parent, if they don't sign a form, they can't just sign a form, my kid. They have got to go. The high schools have got to bring in. They have got to have major films and or training sessions where parents have to attend classes, and they have to sit and listen to a serious lecture from a doctor saying, your child's head is at this risk, blah, 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 blah. They have got to hear it, not from coaches or principals or administrators. They have got to have medical people coming and say, we need to tell you something. about your child's little brain at this age, boy or girl. And they have got to be forced to listen to that. And after listening to that, then they're willing to say, all right, I'll let them play. At a minimum, because I'm hoping that will force schools to say, wait a minute. You know, I know they're looking at new helmets. There's new helmets that came out. Some Seattle company made a major, and I think that'll I mean, I'm watching. I think the pros are going there. So I know they're working very hard. But I just don't know. I just don't know, man. I don't know.